Hello everyone, this is Nitpicking Nerd, and today I want to talk about the fandom menace and specifically Doomcock being allegedly exposed by the YouTuber Ketwolski, who just made a video showing once again that all those channels like Doomcock and others are reporting fake news allegedly. He says that he himself and some of his friends put fake rumors and leaks on the 4chan forums, and the Doomcock and the others reported on them without it being true. Now, Doomcock does say in his videos, almost every time he says these are just rumors, so take it with a grain of salt. But he also said in some videos that he has some other sources which also corroborate the same story, and so even though he says these are just rumors, he never deletes the videos after that, even when it was exposed that the specific story he was talking about was planted for him to use. He never apologized, he never corrected himself, he never even deleted that original video, he just laughs at it and keeps going. So that makes him kind of dishonest. If he immediately apologized, if he retracted those rumors, if he deleted that video, if he corrected himself, then it would be more forgivable. But he never even deleted that original video, the one when he said that Kurtzman punched his hand through a view screen, watching his video, something silly like that. Now, also Doomcock's videos are obviously comedic, so if he would label all of his videos as parodies, then that would also be fine. I'm all for parody, I'm all for doing whatever you want, if it's all just comedic and parody and people shouldn't take it seriously. So his channel is kind of a combination of all of it. So part of it is true rumors, part of it is actual criticism of the show, and that, by the way, is my favorite kinds of videos. I'm less interested in the politics behind the scenes, and I'm more interested in discussing the final product, the show itself. That's what I'm mostly doing on my channel. I'm just discussing the shows and the movies and the in-universe theories and all that kind of stuff. I'm less interested in the behind-the-scenes politics. So anyway, Ketwolski made that video exposing Doomcock that he reported fake news, basically. And apparently for months he's been doing the same. He and some other people were secretly planting all kinds of fake leaks and fake rumors to see if those other channels would report on them, and they reported on some of them. And now he makes a video exposing them that they report fake news. Now the problem is that he himself admits that it wasn't just one page, that he deliberately, it was a whole big scheme, a conspiracy to set up multiple bits of information in all kinds of different places by different people so that it would all fit together so that they will believe it and report on it. Well, that kind of confirms that they were careful not to report fake news, that they only reported on it if they had numerous sources reporting the same thing. And so I kind of have mixed feelings on this, because Ketwolski admits that this was an elaborate scheme to try to fool them, to try to prove that everything they've been saying is false. But that's a little bit dishonest and deceptive on its own. If it was such a massive project to try to trick them and fool them, then I can't really blame them. I will blame you as well for providing all that information for the first place. So you basically wrote their content for them. So aren't you to blame as well for them having that content? So I have some mixed feelings on this. And I talked about this before, that I'm kind of in the middle, because when I review the new Trek shows, I also mention the positive things and not just the negatives, and yet we have this kind of polarization on YouTube, that some channels are absolutely hating everything about the new Star Trek shows and movies, and we have the YouTubers who absolutely love everything about it and never say anything bad, and the fandom managed channels never say anything good. And I'm kind of in the middle. I don't have an agenda. I want to like the new Star Trek shows, and whenever I see something good, I do mention that as well. But I also have a lot of criticism, and I love to nitpick stuff, and so I'm kind of in the middle between these groups. And I would never, say something just because I want to be part of that group or this group. I would never hide my true thoughts on something. So if there's something good, I will say it. If something bad, I will say it. So usually I'm very objective on all of this, and I don't hate any channels on either side. Like, I enjoy a lot of videos by channels who like the new Star Trek shows and by channels who hate the new Star Trek shows. The hate channels are kind of funnier, because it's kind of just more fun to see people get angry and complain and shout. It's just more entertaining. That's probably why those channels are more successful, or maybe because more people simply agree that the new Star Trek shows suck mostly, so they agree more with those channels and not those who love all the new Star Trek shows no matter what. So just the number of views that these groups get also tells us something, I think. But I do think, just people getting angry and ranting, that's simply more entertaining. So that's also a factor for sure. But I do have my own complaints about all those so-called fandom managed channels. And even if Ketwolski never existed and never exposed anything, I would still be saying this, because how can you really judge if someone is telling you the truth or not? If someone is making a prediction saying, I know something and I know something will come true by this or that time, for years they've been telling us all kinds of specific predictions which never come true. So, Kurtzman is going to get fired every moment and all of that kind of stuff. For years and years we hear that, and their predictions never come true. And so that by itself kind of tells you something. And about Doomcock specifically, I did enjoy a lot of his videos, especially when he was making those reviews, when he was nitpicking the show, the kind of stuff I like to do. The only difference is that I also always try to come up with excuses, and only if I cannot even make up an excuse to explain some mistake in the show, then I get pissed off. When no matter what, it's impossible to invent an excuse or a theory to explain something because it's so illogical, it's so self-contradictory in so many ways that you cannot even make up a convoluted excuse to explain it. That's when I truly get pissed off. That's when I go off on my rants. But at least I try to come up with excuses because I want to like the show. I want the show to make sense. I want the show to be good. And I try to fix it in my reviews and my theories, and I fail to do that. That's when I really get angry. But Doomcock usually never mentions anything good about the shows, which do have some good moments, but he never says anything good, even about the new cartoon, which did have some funny scenes and some funny moments, but he only says negative things. So I do disagree with him about that, and especially when he says there are conspiracies that deliberately want to destroy Star Trek or to destroy our culture and our modern heroes and that kind of stuff. Basically going into that conspiracy realm that people are pulling strings and people are putting messages, which is, I guess there is some truth to it. I mean, people have opinions, people want to put their opinions into the shows they are creating. So obviously there are so-called agendas, but mostly those so-called agendas, social justice warriors, they're not inherently evil. My problem with them is that they simply kind of push it in a stupid way or an exaggerated way that isn't organic to the story, that it's been forced in, shoehorned in a stupid way with basically bad writing, and that's my problem with it. Not, the fact that, they want to have more female heroes, to show strong female characters, or they want to show gay people. I'm fine with all of those things. My problem in the shows is that they do it badly. They do it in a stupid way, which is counterproductive to their own agenda. But the agenda itself, I don't believe is evil. You can argue it's evil if it becomes kind of reverse racism. They want to be against racism so much that they push, they put only black people on the show. I'm just inventing it. Just for the sake of argument, let's say a show it so desperately wants to be anti-racist that it becomes racist against the white people. So that is a problem. It's basically the reverse problem what used to be. So I complained about a lot of these issues myself, mostly because it was simply done in a stupid way, which is counterproductive of their own agenda. Like, they want to show strong women, that's fine, so they show all these female admirals in Starfleet, that's great. But at the same time, they show that Starfleet became evil or stupid or incompetent, and so the message itself is negative now. So you show women in command, and then you show Starfleet being terrible now. So that's counterproductive. So that's usually what I was complaining about. However, Doomcock is talking about, cultural wars, and he talks about how terrible it is, all these agendas themselves are terrible, and so I kind of disagreed with him a lot of times that about this whole conspiracy attitude toward all of that. And now I'm getting to the strangest part of Ketwolski's videos when he says he discovered some channel on BitChute which seems to be run by some sort of racist. He's kind of dressed in a kind of Nazi style outfit, kind of like Darth Vader. And Ketwolski is saying that is Doomcock on a secret BitChute channel. Now BitChute is a place that basically everyone who got banned on YouTube go to. And Ketwolski says that's a dangerous place to visit because of all the racists there and all of that. Now, I'm sure a lot of racists who got banned from YouTube also went there, but also a lot of simply conservatives, people who got unfairly censored by YouTube, who should not have been censored in my opinion, have also went there. So not everybody on that other place, that other platform is evil in my opinion. So I disagree with that claim that you should never go there because it's so terrible and all of that. Are you really so weak-minded that you should be scared to hear some crazy opinions once in a while, even if you disagree with them, even if they are racist? So it's kind of strange how Ketwolski exposed this, but then discourages people from actually checking out for themselves, which I did. I did go to check, is that really Doomcock in that other video or not? I was really curious about that. I also found it hilarious. And if that is actually a parody of a racist and all of that, then I'm all for making parodies like that, and I think that kind of stuff should be allowed on YouTube. If it's so ridiculous, if it's obviously a parody, a satire, then people shouldn't be scared to put that on YouTube, but YouTube recently became so sensitive, so censored, that even if you make a joke video, a parody, that's also dangerous now. So I'm not even sure if those videos are serious or not, or if someone is making a parody. But anyway, Ketwolski made a comparison, and he shows, similar body language, a similar style of that video, and he implies that that might be Doomcock. He doesn't say it directly, he says maybe it's not, but he definitely implies. He tries to make Doomcock look like a racist by showing this other figure who is similar style to him, and implies that is Doomcock's other identity. And even though he says he cannot prove it, he's not sure, that still implies it to your viewers. And so if it's not true, then this is basically a form of defamation. You're basically calling Doomcock a racist Nazi because he's so similar to this other character on that other platform who is doing similar style kinds of videos. And maybe that guy was inspired by Doomcock. Maybe he's deliberately doing similar kind of character, but in the political realm, trying to, talking against immigration, talking pro-fascism, basically all kinds of stuff like that. I didn't watch all of it yet, I only watched one video, and the reason I went to watch it, because I wanted to see for myself, is that really Doomcock or not? And I watched that video very, very carefully, I listened to it carefully, and I don't actually think it's him. The voice is not the same voice. The face and body obviously we cannot see, so we cannot judge based on that. The outfit is completely different and apparently more elaborate than Doomcock's costume. So actually Doomcock, if he could do that kind of costume, then wouldn't he do that on YouTube as well? Yet the YouTube one seems much more simplistic. The one on BitChute, his eyes have that rotating lights and all kinds of cool stuff, which actually would have been better if he could do that. Then why didn't he do it on YouTube? So that's kind of suspicious. So it might be kind of a copycat of Doomcock, trying to imitate him and his style, but doing that in the political arena. And it might be the real Doomcock. I mean, we know that Doomcock can do voices. He also plays Harvey, Lulu, and all kinds of other characters. He's doing imitations. In his live streams, I heard him do kind of different voices, imitating different people. So technically it's possible he can do kind of a different accent, imitation of a German or whatever he's playing there. I guess it might be him, but I personally listened very, very carefully. The voice is a little bit too different, because even when Doomcock is making imitations, you can still hear it's the same person talking, you can still hear his voice. And yet this other fellow on BitChute, it doesn't really sound like him, and in my opinion it's not him. And I think Ketwolski knows it also, but he still found it either funny or he simply wants to poke at Doomcock because he dislikes Doomcock because he's making anti-new Star Trek videos, and so he wanted to expose him, and so he went to this lengths of making all that elaborate, interconnected conspiracy of fake leaks and fake rumors to see if he will report on it or not. So basically he created the fake news for Doomcock to read, to then say that Doomcock is a liar who reads fake news, even though Doomcock says in his videos that his rumors are not substantiated, they are not provable. He says that in his videos, and now Ketwolski admits that he's the one behind those rumors, and it's all done just to prove that Doomcock and the others are liars. And so that's a little bit dishonest by itself, in my opinion. I'm not saying you cannot do that, you're not allowed to be a troll and do all kinds of stuff like that. That's fine, but you cannot then come and say that you are such an honest person when you admit you were into all kinds of deceptive practices and the tricks you did on other people to try to prove that they are the liars. That's a little bit of a double-edged sword, in my opinion. And then you try to imply that Doomcock is this racist on BitChute when probably it's not him. That's really kind of defamation almost. I mean, if someone really hated Doomcock, then wouldn't he do that kind of stuff deliberately? Wouldn't he dress up in a similar style and do an imitation of Doomcock? How can you ever disprove that it's not him if someone with a similar voice will be doing an imitation of him, and then you will paint him in that way, and then he'll never be able to prove that it's not him. Even if he takes off his mask now and starts making videos with his real face, you'll still be able to claim that that other person still in the mask, that's also him secretly. So you're basically smearing him with something, with a rumor that he will never be able to disprove. That's kind of a dirty tactic, in my opinion, to basically call him a racist and a fascist because of this other character who is similar to him. And I'm not sure myself if it's really him or not. The similarity is very strong, obviously, so it's hard for me to blame someone who will think it's him. And I will not be putting any links to that other place on this channel simply because YouTube might punish me for that. If I link to some character on BitChute from this channel, then YouTube might do something to this channel, so I will not allow any links, but you can find them on Google if you look up Doomcock, BitChute. There are all kinds of places that discuss that with links to that place, so if you really want to find it, you can go and find it. And if you want to discuss the question, is that really him or not, I will keep the comment section open for discussion about that. And if someone has any kind of proof that will convince me that is indeed him, maybe that will change my opinion about him, maybe I will make another video. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.